I was in just a real deep thinking space last night, and I was thinking about the difference between people who choose to endure things and people who have to endure things. And often you can be both. In that case, I was thinking of Olympic athletes. When I think of people who have proven mental endurance, they are choosing to practice every day, break their body, break their muscles down, and build them up over and over again. And people look at them and they're like, wow, they must have trained so hard. They must have endured so much to get where they are now. But people with various mental illnesses, no one sees their endurance, because dealing with severe anxiety or trauma or depression does not get you to the Olympics. No one can compare or compete with that endurance, because it's in your brain, right? You can't see it. I think athletes who have mental illness get this completely, but people see their endurance when they're performing well, when they're winning those medals and trophies. But no one sees our performance, right? When it's a silent battle just to live life normally. One type of endurance gets you a trophy, and the other basically just helps you live a socially acceptable life. I think those of us who struggle with depression, a lot of people who have clinical depression can't even get out of bed most days. And people with the most, I would call this quite severe depression, literally have not brushed their teeth in weeks, because not only are they sad, because we know depression is not just sadness, it is being consumed with not only sadness, but hopelessness, worthlessness. People don't see the point in living life when they're struggling with severe depression. They can't get out of bed. And people in their lives, their family members, their friends, they look at them and they just can't understand why they can't get out of bed and just brush their teeth, because these people have not experienced depression like the person who can't get out of bed has. And that's just kind of what I'm setting up as like the standard of what we're all trying to fight against. I think a lot of people with depression who aren't in that state, which it is fine to be in that state for a period of time, not forever. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. But yeah, people just don't understand that type of depression or that type of endurance you have to build to get through that deep-seated depression. I think for those of us who do endure the anxiety, the depression, everything, I feel like for those of us who have mental illness, we do what is expected of us, just requires so much endurance. As kids, I think we just did what we had to do. We listened to our parents, we brushed our teeth when we had to, and we learned how to endure even when it feels like your soul is dying. And guys, even Christians go through this. This is not a sign of poor faith. It is a sign of an illness, a struggle. Mental illness isn't demonic possession. It is literally an illness that stems from differences in the brain, and it happens. I know people always say Jesus is there to bring us joy, and I know God wants to bring us joy, but we have to remember that Jesus also suffered, and we as humans who do our best to be like Jesus are not exempt from suffering in our everyday lives. Jesus, to do the Father's will, literally had to suffer and die on the cross, which was super painful. There's not really any joy in that other than the purpose of why he died on the cross. But back on endurance, I think I learned to bottle things up. I learned to not complain when I was struggling. I honestly believed there were so many things wrong with me, and I deserved all the pain I experienced, all the loneliness I experienced, the mistreatment from teachers and friends and ex-therapists. I thought that was normal. I thought I deserved it. I thought it was okay to live life constantly heartbroken. And I learned that pretending like I was okay was my Olympic gold medal. If I could get everyone to believe that I was okay, I didn't have to have people constantly checking in on me. That was me winning my trophy. Coming off as fine was me succeeding. And I did that every day for years and years. And I just kept going. But I will say, those of us who every day live with mental illness, we don't really get to choose if we endure the battle. If we want to live life, if we want to be accepted, if we want to keep going, it requires extreme endurance. And so this is my reminder to you all today. If you're going through it right now, what you're going through is not easy. It is so hard. You are not any less because you are going through it. The things that are coming, the things that you've learned out of your suffering. Maybe you're like me and you decided to be kind to everyone because you were always suffering. So you always wanted to be kind to everyone because you never know who was going through it too. Kindness matters. Love matters. Being kind to yourself matters. Choosing to follow Jesus because Jesus is love and kindness and peace all in one. And realizing that, yeah, even as a Christian, you're going to go through hard things because you're supposed to live this life like Jesus. And Jesus suffered. I just want to say you're not alone in what you're going through. I see you every day trying to live life. You are winning that gold medal every single day.